from KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
Happening right now, San Antonio fire crews are still working to put out some hot spots at a home over on the west side. According to fire officials on the scene, that fire broke out at a home on the corner of McNeil and Willowbrook. It started at the back of the home, but investigators are still trying to figure out how it started. No one was home at the time of the fire, and officials say the home is not a total loss, but say about $75,000 worth of damage was done by that fire. Our other top story tonight, we now know the name of the suspect accused of shooting and killing a 24-year-old man on the west side early this morning. That suspect, 19-year-old Lysandre Zachary, is now facing first-degree murder charges. It happened this morning at a home on Rivas Street. The victim in this case has not yet been identified by the medical examiner. But his cousin tells the night team's Jaffney Gray they hope their loved one's death serves as a lesson for others.
The only thing I saw was a group of kids out there, and my little cousin that came out, and before you know it, you seen gunfire and stuff like that, and he was lying there.
A man who asked not to be identified describes the pure chaos, which he says led to the death of his 24-year-old cousin around 1:30 this morning. San Antonio police say it was a fight that resulted in a victim being shot to death on Rivas Street, not far from North Zarzamora Street.
I think it's uncalled for, and so easy to get guns these days. Every corner, seem like a kid has a gun. So how you stop it, I don't know.
Bexar County Sheriff's officials identified the suspect as 19-year-old Lysandre Zachary. The family member says he doesn't know why Zachary would want to kill his cousin.
He had the basis of right and wrong. He came up in a Christian home, but just because you came up in a Christian home don't mean that you stay on the right path.
He hopes this homicide serves as a lesson for others.
Think about what you're doing. You're taking a love away from a family, and now that family can't replace that loved one. For anyone to take a life, you got to understand that in the end, you'll be judged also.
That was Jaffney Gray reporting. A family searching for answers after their loved one was fatally shot Wednesday morning. 19-year-old Ana Martinez shot at an apartment off of East South Cross. San Antonio police arrested 22-year-old Jose Maria Galindo in connection with the shooting. The night team's Stephen Cavazos spoke to her family, who say they hope justice will be served.
The family of Ana Martinez continue to grieve after she was fatally shot at an apartment off East South Cross Wednesday. Her uncle, Cesar Martinez, says it was news no one ever expected to hear.
And we weren't quite sure yet about the whole situation, but it cleared up pretty quickly after that we'd lost our niece.
And now they're hoping to pay for her funeral costs with the help of a barbecue fundraiser held off East Mitchell Street today. Her family describing her as a positive, loving person who put family first.
She too was very close with her siblings, my other nieces and nephews. They all looked out for each other as we do.
It was here at this Southeast Side apartment complex where Martinez was shot. She was later taken to a hospital where she died from her injury. But candles now burning outside her home in honor of her memory. San Antonio police making an arrest Thursday morning. 22-year-old Jose Maria Galindo is accused of fatally shooting Martinez. Her sister-in-law speaking to KSAT after learning of his arrest. She says they're still wanting answers.
We just want to know the truth.
Answers as to why their loved one was taken.
She did not deserve to get killed by gun violence at all. Nothing. She shouldn't have.
But for now, the family is just hoping for peace, especially for her 2 young children she leaves behind.
Her kids need it. Her family needs it.
Now, San Antonio police were able to arrest Galindo in LaSalle County, which is over 100 miles from where the shooting actually took place. Now, we did reach out to the Bexar County Jail tonight. They weren't able to tell us if Galindo was currently here. However, he was out on bond for assault on a public servant at the time the shooting took place. Reporting live outside the Bexar County Jail, Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News. Tim, Patty.
Thank you, Stephen. Today we learned the name of a man killed in a motorcycle crash in New Braunfels. Police tell us 30-year-old Tyler Munich died from his injuries at the scene. The crash happened this morning before 7 near the Walmart distribution center off of I-35. Police say the victim was not wearing a helmet when he lost control of the bike. He was then hit by two oncoming vehicles. Those drivers were not injured and are not expected to face any charges.
A man is facing an aggravated assault charge tonight for allegedly shooting a man and hitting a woman with a rifle. The incident happened last April. An arrest affidavit says Robbie Cody saw the victim in the parking lot. That's when he stopped and his passenger got into an argument with the female victim. When it turned physical, Cody allegedly pulled out a rifle. He's also facing charges for aggravated robbery. You can read more about this story on ksat.com.
The investigation continues tonight into that massive explosion in northwest Houston, which killed 2 men and damaged more than 200 homes. That explosion rocked Watson Grinding and Manufacturing early Friday morning, pushing some nearby homes off their foundations. 50 homes in all were destroyed. Houston police estimate the debris impact is up to a half-mile away from the blast. The cause still unknown tonight. Authorities say it could take them months to find one. Online records from OSHA show the manufacturer was fined back in 2013 for a serious violation. Fire department officials are now gathering information about the company's full chemical inventory. Gerardo Castorena Sr. and Frank Flores were identified as those killed in the blast.
In Austin, doctors are calling it miraculous that a man successfully has a tapeworm removed from his brain. Doctors think the man contracted the tapeworm in Mexico from eating uncooked pork more than a decade ago. The worm had just been growing slowly since. A scan of the man's brain shows the worm highlighted in red. The patient says he fainted last year while playing soccer. He's been having headaches for months.
Es bastante intenso, bastante fuerte, porque hasta me hacía sudar también, sudar del dolor, que no, dolor en la cabeza y hasta a veces tenía que ser como vómito del puro dolor.
In certain regions of the country, like Texas and California, this can be more common. And so there's definitely something, I think, for every medical professional to be aware of. It is not commonly seen and can actually masquerade as different things.
And after it was removed and he got a little medicine, the patient says he's back to his normal self.
The Defense Department says a U.S. soldier has died following a crash in Syria. He's identified as Army Specialist Antonio Moore of Wilmington, North Carolina. The government says he died in a rollover accident. A press release today explains he was conducting route clearing operations. Activists say violence continues to break out in northeast Syria, which is the last rebel-held territory. That's despite a ceasefire in the region.
Well, if you've been out the past few hours, you know it is not pleasant out there. As we take a look outside with live cam, we've had drizzle and fog slowly settling in over the past few hours, and we've had a steady little drizzle at the airport really since shortly after sunset. And tonight things will be staying cloudy with that drizzle, even a couple of light showers continuing. Fog will be possible through the early morning hours of your Sunday as well. But by tomorrow afternoon, we are looking at full sunshine and a very warm end to the weekend. We'll talk about the big weather changes coming our way by tomorrow and a look at your full forecast here in just a few minutes. Patty.
Thanks, Katie. Well, it's a life-threatening genetic disease that affects people's lungs and has no cure. It's called cystic fibrosis, and today thousands showed up to climb the Tower of the Americas to raise awareness. The Converse fire chief, along with many other firefighters, carried more than 40 pounds of gear. At some point, short of breath, a glimpse of what those living with cystic fibrosis experience. Some climbers today suffer from the disease and still participated. Fundraisers like this gives hope to anyone impacted.
The fight is on. We've got to find a cure. Trikafta is a wonderful thing. It's not a cure. And so we will continue to do this event and many others that we do here in San Antonio.
And according to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the money raised through the events like these have helped fund groundbreaking research for medicines and therapies.
Still to come tonight on the Nightbeat, what is being done to stop the spread of that deadly coronavirus? Chinese officials meeting to come up with a way to contain the virus affecting their country more than any other. Plus, new video in tonight from authorities in New South Wales, Australia, where 3 U.S. military veterans were killed helping to fight those dangerous brush fires burning across the state. New details of the plane crash which took their lives.
And President Trump's lawyers getting their first chance to defend him. What's ahead on this week in the impeachment battle in Washington? Coming up next.
President Donald Trump's attorneys taking center stage in what was a relatively brief day of arguments, defending the president against impeachment charges. This following 3 days of arguments from the Democrats on why the president should be removed from office. Andrew Dimbert tonight with the very latest on the impeachment fight.
You will find that the president did absolutely nothing wrong.
The president's defense team going on the offensive, attacking lead House manager Adam Schiff and his summary of the president's now infamous phone call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky.
That's fake. That's not the real call.
On the Senate floor, Trump's team denouncing the impeachment trial, accusing House Democrats of trying to undo the 2016 election and take Trump off the ballot in 2020.
They're asking you to tear up all of the ballots across this country.
And now, new developments in a story first reported by ABC News.
Mr. President, thank you for being here.
An April 2018 recording, the president with indicted Rudy Giuliani associate Lev Parnas and others. On the tape, a voice identified as Parnas can clearly be heard telling the president that the ambassador to Ukraine was bad-mouthing him.
Yeah, and she's basically walking around telling everybody, wait, he's going to get impeached, just wait. I mean,
really?
It's incredible.
Get rid of her. Hooray. Get her out tomorrow. I don't care. Get her out tomorrow. Take her out, okay?
Excellent.
Do it.
The recording comes in the middle of the impeachment showdown with House managers pushing for new documents and witnesses.
The White House counsel has just made the most powerful argument for the necessity of witnesses and documents that could be made.
If you go down the witness road, you run into executive privilege in a way that no one's in uncharted territory. No one's ever been in the box we're in before.
Speaking to Fox News, the president did not deny the authenticity of the tape. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Our gray and gloomy Saturday has turned into a London fog kind of night out there.
Yeah, not pretty out there.
But tomorrow will be great.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised when you see what we're dealing with right now, how nice tomorrow is going to be. So we'll turn things around pretty quickly, and we will salvage a really nice Sunday. It's going to be nice and warm tomorrow afternoon as well. I'm going to start today's time lapse around 5 p.m. And yes, it was a gray day, but our cloud heights were still fairly high, so we didn't have any of that drizzle or anything. Well, watch these cloud heights lower this evening. As that happened, the drizzle began, and that's what we're dealing with out there right now. Drizzle and even some patchy fog beginning to develop in and around San Antonio. So you see that view out on our camera. The lens is wet. We've got some of that light rain on there. But as I show you the view of Doppler radar right now, our radar site is up near New Braunfels. Not seeing any of that green indicating rain really in and around San Antonio. There have been a few very light passing showers that we've picked up as I loop this through over the past few hours. But that rain that's falling right now, that drizzle out of those clouds is just so light, not even able to be picked up on radar. A little bit of a different story, though, as we zoom things out to a bigger view of South Texas. Rain that is heavy enough to be picked up on radar. That is well to the east of San Antonio, off closer to the Houston area. We've got some nice showers here from Cuero up to far eastern Gonzales County over into Lavaca County near Hallettsville now, even down to Goliad. This shower activity is not going to move west. It's actually moving away from San Antonio. So if you're down on the coastal bend, our far eastern counties, you'll have a better shot to see a little bit of measurable rain as these showers continue for the next few hours. But the trend will be, as we head into the overnight hours, more drizzle possible in and around San Antonio, but those showers that actually are heavy enough to show up on radar, those will stay well to the east of I-35, and heavier rain will move off closer to the Houston area through dawn tomorrow. So once we get past midnight, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, the shower focus will really be well to the east of San Antonio, closer to Houston. By closer to dawn tomorrow morning, we're even starting to see a little bit of clearing. Certainly by mid-morning, rain chances are out of the forecast. We're really starting to see the cloud cover clear out. And by lunchtime tomorrow, we've got a lot of sunshine, and that'll take us into what's going to be a really nice afternoon tomorrow. Temperatures now upper 50s in the hill country, low 60s elsewhere. That's about where our dew point temperatures are as well, and that has caused some fog to develop. We've got visibility down to 3/4 of a mile in Hondo, half a mile in Uvalde, 2.5 miles here in San Antonio, 1.5 miles in Pleasanton. But through the overnight hours, fog will continue to be a bit more widespread. Could be dense for a few hours around dawn tomorrow morning. So do keep that in mind if you'll be out very early tomorrow morning. That fog will still be around, but by mid-morning, as skies clear out, we'll get rid of the fog. And again, by late morning, fog will not be an issue anymore. But overnight tonight, if you've got to get out, maybe you're a rideshare driver or something like that, it's going to stay very messy out there. So please be careful. Fog and drizzle continues. We'll see temperatures fall into the mid to upper 50s. And early tomorrow around dawn, 7 o'clock, we're still mostly cloudy. We've still got some lingering fog, but as we get to mid-morning, things will improve quickly. And by tomorrow afternoon, we're under full sunshine with high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. So a sunny and warm into the weekend. Monday, another nice day. But look at your planning forecast here. We've got some clearing Sunday into Monday, rain chances late Monday into Tuesday. Another round of clearing, and then another chance of showers returns to the forecast by late next week. So it is nice to see some chances of showers in the forecast. It looks like we'll have a better chance at some more widespread rain as we get into Thursday night next week.
You get to that period this week where you don't know what to wear because you might wear something cool and then it gets chilly at night. So you just have to keep it in your car.
Keep your head on a swivel. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Katie.
You're welcome.
What's going on out there in sports, guys?
Well, Spurs are enjoying a night off tonight before playing host to the Birds from north of the border.
Yes, they beat the Raptors earlier this season at Toronto, though. They came from 18 down to win. That's the good news. The bad news, Toronto's coming to San Antonio, and the Spurs are not actually dominating at home this season. Plus, in the NFL, Super Bowl action, Niners defense, very confident they can slow down Patrick Mahomes. Coming up.
Nobody gonna feel sorry for us. We gotta get ready to play early game on Sunday.
DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs have to turn the page quickly after a tough home loss to Phoenix in big board sports. Thanks to a strong second quarter, the Suns beat the Spurs last night 103-99, ending an 11-game skid in the Alamo City dating back to late February 2013. The Spurs looked good early on, then they just crumbled in the second quarter, which cost them big time. Suns point guard and leading scorer this season, Devin Booker, was 17 years old the last time Phoenix won in San Antonio. The Spurs will now rest and get ready for the Raptors, who are tied with Miami for second best record in the Eastern Conference.
They're a very good defensive team. They're long, they're athletic, and just being able to move the ball and you know, punish the athleticism and how they can you know, close out on people, straight line drives, downhill, that kind of thing. And just everyone, you know, obviously being physical and on the defensive end and aggressive on the offensive end. I think that's when we're at our best.
Spurs will host the Raptors tomorrow afternoon at 3, the Raptors' only regular season trip to San Antonio. Toronto comes to town as the second hottest team in the NBA behind Milwaukee. They're healthy and picking up steam. Last night in New York, Kyle Lowry led the Raptors' offensive attack with 26 points. Pascal Siakam, voted an NBA All-Star this season, was next in line with 23. Raptors win their 6th straight, beating the Knicks 118-112. We are rapidly approaching Super Bowl 54 between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. We start with the NFC champion Niners, who are hard at work in Santa Clara, California. They feature the NFL's #2 overall defense, #1 against the pass, middle of the pack versus the run, and 8th best in points allowed per game. Niners quarterback Richard Sherman, who won Super Bowl 48 with Seattle, says the Niners defense feels good and staying confident against QB Patrick Mahomes is necessary.
I think confidence in this league, just in general, is one of the most important things. That's what allows great players to be great, and that's what kind of hampers and keeps other players from being great or reaching their potential, is because you either get confidence early or you lose it. And once you lose it, it's hard to find again. But once you have it, it's hard to take from you. But you know, I think we believe in each other. We believe in the scheme. We believe in what we've done all year, and we plan on going out there and putting a good product on tape and seeing how it goes.
Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, they can score points in a hurry. They had the 6th best overall offense during the regular season, #5 in passing, 23rd rushing, and averaged 28.2 points per game, which was 5th best. But it's Mahomes that just makes this offense so good and so scary. Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill says their offense needs to know where Sherman is at all times.
He's a very smart corner, man. I mean, he's been in the game a long time. He done seen a lot of concepts and, you know what I'm saying, routes and everything in the league. So, I mean, the receivers, tight ends, and everybody in this offense, we got to be on our toes and know where he is on the field because he is a vet in the game and he's smart.
Super Bowl 54 is a week from tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Coming up later in sports, the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Ton of basketball games today with number 1 Baylor at Florida. And Florida fans, they were doing this.
I imagine so.
Yep.
Watch out for those Gators. Thanks, Larry.
All right, we'll be right back. Coming up at 10:30, the latest on the efforts to contain the deadly coronavirus, which has now infected 2 people in the U.S. and possibly a third right here in Texas.
Plus, the death toll only growing in Turkey after a powerful earthquake devastates an entire region. We'll be right back. Chinese officials meeting today to discuss ways to halt the spread of the coronavirus.
At least 2 cases have been diagnosed in the U.S., and authorities are investigating a third potential case here in Texas. ABC's Diane Macedo with the latest.
The potentially deadly coronavirus is on the rise in the U.S. Officials first confirmed a patient in Seattle was hospitalized after returning from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the outbreak. Then on Friday, a second case was confirmed in Chicago. The patient in her 60s had also visited Wuhan.
She had cold-like symptoms, shortness of breath, fever, and many times it would present just like a cold.
The CDC is testing travelers at 5 U.S. airports, concentrating on those returning from Wuhan.
It's also important as an opportunity to educate returning travelers about the potential risk of novel coronavirus.
But concern over a large-scale outbreak in the U.S. is minimal.
The thing that you need to be watching out for is sustained person-to-person transmission.
There are now more than 1,300 cases in China alone, with confirmed cases in at least 13 other countries or territories. Officials in China, including President Xi Jinping, met on Saturday to discuss how to halt the spread. Chinese authorities are also canceling many Lunar New Year events, closing major tourist sites, even implementing a travel ban.
Convenience stores or small places that were expected to be open that could sell things like food are closed unexpectedly.
Efforts to contain the virus have nearly 30 million people on lockdown. Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Happening around the world, at least 29 people have died and more than 1,000 were injured after an earthquake rattled eastern Turkey. The 6.7 magnitude quake caused at least 10 buildings to collapse, according to the Turkish Interior Minister. Nearly 40 people were pulled from the rubble by search and rescue teams overnight. It is believed that many more may still be trapped. Preliminary reports say the earthquake lasted about 40 seconds. More than 3,000 search and rescue personnel are still working on rescue efforts.
In Australia, New South Wales police have shared video of the crash scene where 3 Americans died battling the raging fires there. All 3 men were veterans of the U.S. military. The cause of the crash is not yet known. A government official in Australia said the Oregon-based water tanker plane had been chartered by the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. The crew had been on a firebombing mission when the accident occurred. The U.S. has deployed more than 200 fire staff to Australia so far, according to the National Interagency Fire Center.
Take a look at headlines around America tonight. Authorities in North Carolina are investigating the death of a family. It happened in Vanceboro, north of Wilmington. The sheriff there says 5 people were found dead at a home yesterday, including a man, woman, and their 3 children, ages 4 and under. Not many details have been made available yet, as that incident is still under investigation.
3 Illinois state troopers were shot and 1 was killed in an apparent murder-suicide last night. The incident took place at a cigar bar just west of Chicago. Investigators say the shooter, 51-year-old Lisa McMullen, opened fire on 3 of her fellow troopers without warning. 51-year-old Greg Reeves, who was recently retired from the Illinois Highway Patrol, died. Another retiree, 55-year-old Lloyd Graham, is in stable condition. Active trooper 48-year-old Caton Bullock was also shot and hospitalized. Now, after firing several rounds at the 3 Illinois troopers, authorities say the suspect took her own life.
We have a scam alert for you tonight. The U.S. Census Bureau is recruiting to fill thousands of temporary positions, but the Better Business Bureau says you need to be aware of scams because scammers are posting about open census jobs on the web and social media, then asking to be paid fees for applications or training. The BBB says that's a dead giveaway. This is a scam. Federal agencies never charge application fees. The Census Bureau will also not charge you for training or ask you to buy any equipment you may need. If you are interested in getting legitimate work with the U.S. Census Bureau, just go over our website at ksat.com. Meanwhile, tax season is here, but after the break, we'll have some helpful advice you might want to know before you file. Money It's Personal is next.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather, streaming free on KSAT TV.
It's tax time. Did you know you can get your income tax return prepared for free if you make below a certain amount? Or that there are free filing options for members of the military? With tax season already underway, it's not too early to start getting all those documents ready to submit to the IRS. Digital journalist Ivan Herrera tells you what you may need to know before you file on this week's Money It's Personal.
It's time to start preparing your paperwork to get your taxes done. Do you know what you need to bring with you when you file? If you're not a contract worker, the first thing you'll want to get is your W-2 form from your employer. If they haven't mailed it to you or given it to you electronically, you'll want to get with your human resources representative. If you're a contract worker or freelancer, you'll need a 1099 MISC form. If you earn income in other ways or an interest on your assets, there are different 1099 forms for that too. Make sure to bring those with you. You'll also want to have your proof of health insurance, which will be on a 1095 form, just in case you need it. Depending on how you purchase your insurance, whether through an employer or through the marketplace, your form will have a different letter assigned to it. Don't forget to bring in your receipts for any charitable donations and your medical and business receipts if you have any. And if you made any federal student loan payments, you may be eligible to deduct a portion of the interest you paid. So make sure to get your 1098-E form from your loan servicer. Individuals and families who earn $60,000 or less annually are eligible to receive free tax preparation through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. VITA volunteers from the community help prepare basic current tax returns to eligible taxpayers free of charge at different sites in the area. And Free File is available for active duty military members and their families whose adjusted gross income was $69,000 or less last year. The IRS says those who meet the income requirements can choose between 9 companies without regard to additional eligibility requirements. The IRS will begin processing tax returns on January 27th. The deadline to file is April 15th. Ivan Herrera, KSAT 12 News.
And as always, we have more information on the Free File and the VITA program on our website. Just head over to ksat./news at 9. Money It's Personal runs 9 p.m. every Tuesday.
Taxes and this weather. Nice pairing. It is gross out there. We've had drizzle and fog developing over the past few hours. 60 degrees at the airport right now with visibility not too low yet. The fog isn't dense just yet, but that's not out of the question through dawn Sunday morning. Now, if you have plans for brunch, lunch, anything like that, you may be kind of bummed out just looking at live cam, but look at our forecast for tomorrow. We're going to clear out pretty quickly in the morning. That takes us into the afternoon with a lot of sunshine and temperatures climbing into the mid to upper 70s. We'll talk more about this quick turnaround in our weather and get you a look at the rain chances for next week coming up in just a few minutes.
Anyone who's out there tonight driving, it's going to have to really be careful.
Yes, please be careful. Patty was like, is it going to be drizzling when we leave? Yes, yeah. It's
all
gonna be
night.
And I was looking at some of our cameras for on the roads.
And looks a little nasty out there.
Yeah, and the roads do look a little bit slick. So if you've got somewhere to go in the next couple of hours, just make sure you be careful because we've got the drizzle and also some fog around. Things are going to turn around really quickly by even tomorrow morning. And as we look at next week, kind of at a glance here, we're going to have a lot of back and forth. Some clearing tomorrow and Monday, then we bring rain chances back, and then we clear out, and then we bring rain chances back for the end of next week. It does look like Thursday into Friday of next week. That'll be our next best chance at some good widespread rain. The rain that's out there tonight is not going to add up to much at all, unfortunately. 60 degrees at the airport, 60 in New Braunfels, 57 in Kerrville, and 57 out in Del Rio. And there is not a big spread at all between our air temperatures and our dew point temperatures. So when those two numbers get close together, that's when we start to see fog develop. And compared to this time last night, our dew points are up 20 to 25 degrees in some spots. We had a big moisture return at the surface today, and that is aiding in fog developing. And even since last half hour, visibility is down here in San Antonio and Bexar County to just 1 mile, 3/4 of a mile in Hondo, half a mile in Uvalde. Elsewhere, things are okay. You're fine in Austin, fine in Junction, but in and around San Antonio and Bexar County, we are starting to see visibility drop. So that's one part of the equation. The other part is the drizzle that has settled in over the past few hours. And as I have you right now, satellite and radar, obviously it's very cloudy out there, but no real rain showing up on radar. The drizzle is so light, it's not being detected on radar, but there's plenty of that out there right now. The rain that's heavy enough to be picked up by radar, that's well off to the southeast of San Antonio from Lavaca County and Hallettsville down south to Cuero, even up to near Gonzales. Some light passing showers will continue to move off to the east, closer to the Houston area over the next few hours and through dawn tomorrow morning. We've even got some clearing going on off to the northwest of the hill country, and we will continue to see things gradually clear out here overnight through early tomorrow. What's going on here? We've got a dip in the jet stream off in far west Texas. That here on the east side of that is providing the lift overhead, the moisture, and that's what's giving us that very kind of light rain and fog out there this evening. But as we head into the overnight hours and tomorrow, this upper level low, all this energy is going to move off to the east. Things will clear out, and we're looking at a lot of sun to finish the weekend. So here's how things will clear out on future casts tonight. We'll continue to see some slightly heavier rain, maybe a rumble of thunder for our far eastern counties. So Gonzales over to Hallettsville down to Cuero. Those showers will continue over the next couple of hours. But as we get closer to dawn tomorrow morning, heavier rain will be off closer to the Houston area. Our rain chances here in and around San Antonio will gradually start to come to an end. We'll see the clouds start to break up as we get closer to dawn tomorrow morning. That will knock the drizzle out. The fog will also start to clear up by mid-morning, and by noon tomorrow, we're seeing a ton of sunshine. And it's actually going to be a really warm January day tomorrow with high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. So if you'll be out early in the morning, keep in mind some lingering cloud cover, even some patchy fog, but we'll clear out really nicely in the afternoon with a high temperature around 77. Another nice warm day on Monday. Showers move back in Monday night, but then we'll clear out early on Tuesday. Just a morning chance of rain there. Clear out late Tuesday into Wednesday, and then rain chances return on Thursday. We've got a series of upper level disturbances moving overhead. It does look like the one toward the end of next week will have a little bit more oomph to it, so that'll give us a higher coverage of some rain.
But you know what the good news is? We are exactly 11 months from Christmas.
Yes, Patty.
Throw that out there.
Ask no one. Thanks.
Thanks,
Let's
Katie.
talk about cheaters.
Sorry, Katie. Houston Astros.
Go Dodgers.
Former Houston Astro pitcher Dallas Keuchel is apologizing for the sign stealing, but another Major League Baseball player is wondering why Astros hitters haven't apologized. Plus, Texas Tech, Kentucky, one heck of a basketball game coming up.
Well, Dallas Keuchel didn't hit, so I don't think I don't really know why he was the one apologizing, but he's the first one that's mentioned anything like that, so good for him.
LA Dodgers Justin Turner, who was a part of the squad who lost the 2017 World Series to the Astros, wonders why Houston's batters have not apologized for stealing signs in big board sports. Former Houston Astros pitcher Dallas Keuchel is the first member of the 2017 World Series champs to publicly apologize for the Astros sign-stealing scheme. Now a member of the White Sox, Keuchel spoke with the media yesterday during Sox Fest. He said a lot of guys are unhappy that former Houston pitcher Mike Fiers went public spilling the beans. Still, Keuchel says his ex-teammates should be sorry as well.
I think first and foremost, I think apologies should be, in order for if not everybody on the team. And was it against the rules? Yes, it was. And I personally am sorry for what's come about the whole situation.
Astros owner Jim Crane said the team will apologize once they can be on the same page at spring training. Turning to men's college basketball, LSU Tigers at Texas Longhorns, part of the Big 12 SEC Challenge. First half, Tigers' Skylar Mays steals the pass, takes it back, drop pass to Trendon Watford for a rocking slam dunk. LSU led 28-20 and 42-32 at halftime. Late second half, pass goes inside to Jericho Sims. Turnaround is good. Texas leads 60-58. Moments later, tied at 60, Tigers steal the ball. Mays pushing it, finds Watford for an alley-oop layup. Difficult shot. LSU holds on 69-67. Number 15, Kentucky at number 18, Texas Tech. First half, final seconds. Emmanuel Quickly from half court. His three is good at the buzzer. Wildcats led 36-34 at the break. Late second half, Tech used a 13-4 run to draw even at 63, forcing overtime tied at 64 all. 30 seconds left in OT now. Davide Moretti feeds Kevin McCullough, who gets the hoop and the harm for Tech, and we're tied at 74, but the Wagner alum missed the free throw, and Kentucky holds on 76-74 in overtime. Number 1, Baylor at the Florida Gators. First half, Bears closing out strong. Maceo Teague shoots and makes a three. Bears go up 30-27. Then it's Teague again from downtown, part of a 13-2 run for Baylor to end the half. Florida down 40-29 at halftime. Second half, Devontae Bandu gets into the three-point contest. Good as the Bears go up 19, 53-34. Teague now with a long pass to Mark Vidal for a bucket touchdown. Baylor to make it 55-37, and Baylor takes it 72-61. Oklahoma State at Texas A&M. No drama in this game. Second half, Aggies' Quentin Jackson makes a triple, and Aggies are down 34-29. Cowboys pull away after that. 8 minutes left. Isaac Likel takes the bounce pass in for some jam. He led all with 13, and Oklahoma State rolls 73-62. Texas State's Nigel Pearson honored for becoming the program's all-time leading scorer on the 16th, ahead of the Bobcats game with UT Arlington today. This one all Cats early. A streaking Pearson fed in the post. Cats take a 7-0 lead. Mavericks hanging tough. Rashad Davis passes the ball up to Jabari Narcisse from beyond the arc, and they trail 20-18. Loose ball underneath the Cats' basket. Mason Harrell comes up with it. He puts up the runner in the post, and Texas State goes up 22-18. Near the end of the first half, Deshaun Davison peels off and is calling for a three ball. It's good. Bobcats are down 35-34 at the half, and UT Arlington holds on and gets the road win 64-62.
That was a close one. Was that a Major League Baseball hat at the top?
I think it was, right?
I like that.
Yeah, that was a cool cap. We got to find one.
Definitely. Thanks, Larry.
Coming up, a special surprise for a Texas school hall monitor. Tell Me Something Good is next.